Before I start, I want to thank Isabel. We actually went to school,
elementary school
together.
We did.
We were like
we were in the
best buds.
Yeah, we were like in the BFF little crew.
Yeah, and we got back together at one point, and now she has her catering company. When we say catering, like, well, instead of me talking more about it, can you tell us more about it?
Yeah, for sure. So my name is Isabel, and I own a company called Tuck. And my business partner is Jera Thomas Wendels. You might know him from the Manx pub. If you guys know the Manx. Yeah, so he was the chef there for like 12 years. So now he's left the Manx and we've started a company together. So we cater events, but we also do a weekly meal delivery service that it's a once a week, we post a menu on our Facebook page with a link to an order form. And people go and they look at the menu. They pick what they like, and then we deliver. So we deliver to your homes. We have some little hubs that we deliver to as well. Hopefully, if all happens, we can have a little hub here of people. Yeah. And yeah, so most of the things that we do are paleo or gluten-free, wheat-free, nut-free. No legumes. It's very similar to what Martin is going to speak, like the undiet and things like that. My background prior to doing this, I owned a CrossFit gym for 4 years, and the paleo diet is something that people there adhere to very dearly. So that's our service. So if you want to look at our Facebook page, you can also sign up. I think Martin's going to collect some emails if anyone's interested. So we send you the menu once a week, and then we deliver. It's easy as that.
Before you leave, she has some cards if you want to grab one. Check out her Facebook.
Yeah, we're just on Facebook and email right now. We don't have a website yet because we've been so busy with our business. The business is going so well, we can't do the website.
Well,
but
Facebook sometimes is all you need, really.
Oh yeah, seriously, it's been really great with that. So everything that you've tasted today is gluten-free. And I know sometimes some people are just a bit, they think they're like, oh, I can't eat this, and they're like, oh my god, what can I eat? But it's just to show that there's so many options out there that you can eat, and even though we're withdrawing some things from our diet.
So Tuck, check it out, and it was delicious. Was it good?
Yes,
excellent.
It was.
All right, thanks for coming.
Thank you.
And
hope to hear from you guys.
We'll get started.
Thank you.
So, I spent a lot of time thinking about what I wanted to share tonight. And hello everyone, if you're online. And some of you have participated in Undiet. Some of you have followed Undiet for a while. And part of tonight is to make it a bit of a review, a bit of a celebration at the same time. If you've been part of Undiet for a while, then we want to celebrate, we want to hang out a bit together. We also want to review, want to make sure we understand the principles. Some of you might have joined Undiet a little bit later in the process. We've been doing Undiet for a while. So before we get started, life is amazing. I believe it is. And one of the reasons it's amazing is because of her. That's my beautiful wife. And
So she's got some work done?
she, yeah.
That's before her nose job.
And 5 years ago, we created this Oaktree, which has been an amazing journey. It's been incredible. And pretty much as we started Oaktree, we also started the Undiet. And when we first started with Undiet, I see you, Anna, come on in. You can have a seat wherever you like. When we first started with Undiet, basically it was, I think, 12 weeks, maybe a bit of suffering, maybe, but I don't know, it was great. It was great, but it has evolved. I listen, I pay attention, and I receive feedback. And I hear people telling me, oh, I wish we had more of this. So it has evolved. And recently, we are going away from Undiet, and we are now calling it Oaktree BODY. And biggest reason, short story, Oaktree BODY has been created because Undiet exists. There's somebody else that created a book called Undiet. And as far as I know, we were first, but we don't want to compete. We don't want to. She has her deal, and it's undiet for her. So for a few years, I've been thinking about I want to come up with another name, and this is perfect because really it is far more than just a diet that we're talking about. The Oaktree BODY now, or what was the undiet, is a lot more than just a diet. So we're going to talk a bit more about it. But before we do, I want to tell you a bit about myself. If you don't know me, I'm definitely a family man. About a few years ago, I acquired these two little ones, and they've been amazing blessings. And just recently, I've acquired another one. So life is busy. It's very busy. And as a busy dad, usually when you think of a busy dad, you think of oh wait, this is us on our adventure. We do a lot of adventures. We're busy. This was in Whistler. We're doing hanging out, vacationing in Whistler. But as a busy dad, with all my beautiful family, requires a larger vehicle, a big van. And as a busy dad, it also requires me to start getting in touch with my Frozen. And I can recite pretty much the songs. One of the famous Frozen song, if you've never heard of Frozen, it's about letting it go, let it go. And a lot of times as a dad, or as a parent, or even if you're not a parent, as a busy life, we start to let it go, right? We start to, and I have friends, and I look around and I see my brother, and I see people around my age who, I remember at one point, they were a certain type, and now I feel like they're letting it go. And I understand it's busy, it's tough, there's a lot of stuff, there's scheduling, and we want to, still go on the adventures and enjoy life, and enjoy food, and sometimes, when we think of a busy dad, a lot of times this would be me. But I don't want this. That's not the life that I want. Now, I don't want this. This is not what I'm talking about. There's nothing wrong with that, by the way. And if that's what you're looking for, that's great. But that's not necessarily my vision.
You're close, though.
You're close.
Yeah. Well, it's not my vision, but I'm doing pretty good. I think to get to this level, maybe steroids. I heard steroids. Maybe. But all I want to do is I want to enjoy life. I want to live a good life, an amazing life. I started off, life is amazing, and I want to have an amazing life. And in order for me to have an amazing life, I still have to have a good body, and I have to take care of myself. And so I try to eat right. I try to exercise. I don't have a gym membership. I lift weights. Sometimes. I don't. Not all the time. But I'm very social. I hang out with my friends. I do sports, but usually it's on a social. Usually it's about let's go cycling together, let's go running together. That's kind of my let's play tennis. I play tennis with my dad all the time. That's what I like to do. And overall, I'm still doing not too bad. You mentioned you're doing pretty good, and I think you're right. So this is me. So not too bad. Maybe not like the other guy, but I'm still able to accomplish a good physique in certain ways. And I'm not obsessed about it. I'm not in the gym all the time. And remember, life is amazing. And if I wasn't in the gym, and not to say that there's nothing wrong. If that is your vision and the other guy, you want to reach that, I can help you. But if overall, I think the people that are seeking out my help are just looking to enjoy the life and make sure that their body can follow. Make sure that the body is still strong and healthy. So We started Oaktree BODY, and as we get into it, let me show you a quick clip. So, my name is Martin Perras, and I'm 35 years old. Life is awesome. 3 kids, beautiful wife, good body, excitement, ambition, and a mission. At the end of the day, I'm living. I'm going for my dreams, and I'm doing the best I can. So who am I? I'm a family man. I'm a triathlete. I'm an Iron Man. I'm an acupuncturist. I'm a health nut. And my mission is to help people become an oak tree. The oak tree is a symbol for a strong and resilient person. It doesn't waver. It will last through the storm. It will grow strong and mighty and produce lots of fruits. I'm all about the simple life. And in order for me to live out the reason God put me on this planet, I need to take care of my health. So join me on my adventure, and we'll grow tall together.
Nailed it.
So we created Oaktree BODY, and I wanted to share this video because I wanted to share. You know, we're called Oaktree, and we have Oaktree BODY, and the clinic is called Oaktree, and I'm the one who came up with the name Oaktree, by the way. It wasn't Emily, it was me. And the reason why I remember thinking about, like, I was looking for a metaphor. I was looking, and I love the wood. I love being in the outdoors. That's a big thing of mine. And it just came to me, like, what is so strong? What is so solid? Like, what is the one tree that just, like, stands out? And, like, you know, I remember, like, thinking about, like, there could be a storm, and like, I've walked through forests where all the trees have collapsed, but, like, there's, like, an oak tree there, and it's still strongly rooted, and that's a bit of a metaphor of how I see my life and how I see my body, and that's really what we want to try to create. So maybe that gives you a bit of an idea or more of a philosophy about it. But so let's talk more about what is Oaktree BODY. If you've been part of the Undiet, this will be familiar to you a bit. So it is a nutritional. We focus very much on nutrition. We'll spend some time and talk about that today. It is also a little bit of strength and fitness. It's not a huge component, but you still need to build muscles. That needs to be a main focus. You need to focus on life. We talk a bit about, like, stress reduction. We talk about ways to manage the busyness of life. There's psychology behind it. I think we get our mind plays so many tricks on us, and we can have guilt, we can have shame, many reasons to sabotage ourselves, to think that we're not successful, that we're not going to get to where we want to get to. So we get into the psychology, and a huge part that I really enjoy, and if you've been part of it, is our accountability that we try to offer, the support, and the community. I'm a big community guy. I love community, and one of the ways this is community. This is sharing food, sharing drinks, hanging out together. This is community, sharing stories, and just this weekend, it was Ori's birthday, and we for Ori's birthday present, what he wanted is, like, he said, I want a fort, I want a tree house, and I was like, okay, sure, and then he said, I want you to build it. He said, he wanted me, and if you know me, I'm not the handiest guy. I grew up, my dad, and we did a lot of stuff, but I have Wayne. I call Wayne all the time. And I almost did. And I said, well, what if we have Wayne build a treehouse? And he said, no, I want, like, you. And he said, like, and you can do it with maybe, like, your dad, and, like, your brother can come and help. And so I was like, all right. And then I was like, so what kind of treehouse do you want? Like, it's like a big treehouse, like, and I want it high, and he's like, I want a roof, and I want a cool door, and he's telling me all about it. And I was like, oh, Sounds expensive. Sounds complicated. But this weekend, my dad, my brother, my brother-in-law, my other brother-in-law, my uncle, community got together, and it's not done, but we started an amazing tree house, and it was just, I loved how, we used to call it bonding time, like we're going to bond together, and it was really awesome for the whole day, and Ori was there, and he watched his dad build the tree house. So, I love community, and I think there's so much strength in community, and that's one of the reasons why Oaktree BODY is successful, is because we share, we talk, we support each other. I don't always feel like I'm a bit of obviously I'm the leader of this Oaktree BODY concept, but I don't always feel I don't always feel amazing. After building the treehouse on Sunday, on Monday, I felt like crap. I was tired, my back was hurting, I didn't eat the best food on Sunday, and for some reason on Monday I remember waking up and all I wanted was like bread, and I wanted to sleep, and I wanted to just like go away. Like I wanted to, so I don't always feel, but knowing that I have a group, I have a support people, I have other people, posting, telling me about how they're doing, sharing, sending me emails, taking pictures of what they are doing, is huge. So I find I get just as much. I try to give a lot with the Undiet, with the Oaktree BODY, but I receive so much. So thanks everyone for participating. And so that's what it is in a nutshell. Like I try to what is Oaktree BODY? Well, it's a nutritional program. It's a strength program. It's a life program. It's much more than just a diet program. So the first thing I wanted to talk we'll talk about the diet to go over it, because that's a main component. When I created this, I wanted something that was going to be easy, sustainable. Sustainable is my huge trick in health. If I can find something that I can stick to, I'm going to be successful in it. And we've tried to make Undiet or Oaktree BODY sustainable, satisfying. I don't want to feel like, oh, I'm starving. Oh, I'm missing food. I want to enjoy life. I want to be satisfied. I want to be social too. I want to be able to have my family come over, have my friends come over, and not just feed them broccoli. I want to be able to travel, and I do travel. I go on seminars all the time. I was just in Lake Placid. I was in Toronto. In a few weeks, I'm going camping. I'm going canoe camping. So I want to be able to travel and do things. I want to eat food that I like. I want to make sure that it's tasty and delicious. I want to make sure that it accommodates my busy lifestyle. And it's great as a parent, because I'm a parent, and for busy people. And, at the same time, with all these things, it has to produce results. If it does not produce results, it's great that it's fun. It's great that it's easy. It's great that it's satisfying. But if there aren't the results, but we're seeing results. People have told me, from time after time after time, I feel so much better. I have lost weight. We've heard so many great success stories. So, in a nutshell, this is what you have to look for if you decide to participate in this. And it also involves cupcakes. I want to be able to take my daughter out sometimes and enjoy a cupcake. And we have our dates, and somehow they have turned out that every time we go on a date, there has to be a cupcake. And then she's like, I'm your cupcake girl. and she knows how to get me. Sometimes we go out for ice cream. We have to enjoy life, and it doesn't mean that. So there's all sorts of great things. It also involves green juice. The juice that I drink, it's from a company called Renew Cold Press. I have I don't get paid to support. I don't get paid to support Talk. I just support companies that I believe in. So I buy 4 big bottles of this every week. Gets delivered to my house, and this is something that I drink a lot. And you've tried a different pineapple. You've tried a few. This is the one that I drink all the time. It's green, and if somebody wants to, at the end, can have it. So it involves green juice. It involves, for me, San Pellegrino. If you watch me, I have one of those pretty much every day. Guna, you've probably seen it on my desk every day.
Yeah,
It's a new bottle every day.
As long as they're all recycled.
Yes, they are recyclable. And it involves coffee. If you do drink coffee, even today there was research. There was, in the news they talked about how coffee now it's good for you. So it does involve coffee. It involves intermittent fasting. We're going to talk more about that. If you're like, what's intermittent fasting? I'll talk about it. It involves having an understanding about calories, not obsessing about it, but making sure, because you can eat the healthiest food on the planet and still gain weight. That is one of the biggest myths. People that are, there's been this big movement towards clean eating, and I like it. You know, I feel much better when I eat clean food, but it's a little bit false, because if you eat all the clean food, if you eat too much clean food, you will still put on weight. And it is unhealthy to eat too much clean food. So you have to have an understanding. It involves understanding a little bit about calories, sometimes checking in, knowing how many, having some awareness about that. And I can help you. That is very individualized. Knowing how many calories you should eat, that's something that would require probably a conversation with me. Or it's fairly simple. There's different calculations. A very quick one is you can take your weight times 15 or times 14, and that will give you about the number that, I weigh around 140 pounds, and if I do that times 15, it brings me around to 21 to 2200 calories. Now, if I want to lose weight, I have to go down that. So going to around, if I do my weight 140 times 13, usually that'll bring me closer to 1800 calories. And if I do that, then that's where I tend to lose weight. So, that's that's something that it's important to have some awareness. If you're eating food and you're like, I have no idea, it's kind of like having a business and just spending stuff, and how much are you spending? I have no idea. I'm just spending. I'm just like, we're just going to buy this, or we don't really know what it's doing. Yep. So we're not anti-carbs, we're not anti-protein, we're not anti-fat. There's so many diets and that are, you can't eat this, you can't eat that, you can't eat. I believe in a good balance. A balance of fats, protein, carbohydrates. Those are what's called macronutrients. Sometimes they're called macros. And having an understanding of your macronutrients, if you're eating way too much of one, a lot of times, we hear a lot about low carbs, get away from the carbs, is because a lot of people consume too many carbohydrates. So sometimes people are like, all right, I'm done with carbohydrates, but then they go on the high protein, and that's unhealthy too. Too much protein creates uric acid in your body. So we are not too much one, too much, or too little the other. We believe in a balance of the three macros. So what does it look like? It looks a little bit like this. That was dinner yesterday. Sometimes it looks like this. Not all the time, but it does. This weekend, weekend, birthday party weekend, we had some pizza. And this is what we had. So I'm going to go over the three main meals, and which will help. Breakfast, most important meal of the day. That's what we've heard. So forever I grew up thinking that breakfast was the most important meal of the day. So I grew up on cereal and bread and bagels and sometimes yogurt. My orange juice, had to have my orange juice. So it's a bit of a lie that breakfast is the most important meal of the day. To say that one is more important, it would be like saying that fat is more important, or that carbs are more important, or that or that protein is more important. They're all important. But we, with the Oaktree BODY, we believe it a little bit in a concept called intermittent fasting. And intermittent fasting is basically the idea where you skip breakfast. There's different ways how you can do it, but the easiest way is you skip breakfast. Skip breakfast? Yeah. You skip breakfast, and you, what you do is you try to push your first meal to a little bit later. Who here has like ferocious appetites in the morning? Okay, so, but somehow, somehow we still have breakfast. We still like force ourselves, gotta have my breakfast, gotta like force myself.
We're sort of taught that your metabolism
Yes.
needs to be kick-started in the morning, and that if you eat early, you'll start it. So is that just myth?
Yeah.
Good.
You're
Good answer. Good answer.
So basically, you have what's called a sympathetic and a parasympathetic system. Sympathetic is like as you wake up, your sympathetic should drive up, should start, and that's like stress hormones, and that allows your body to be more on, allows your body to be more alert, allows your body to function a little bit more. As you get into closer to the evening of the night, as you start to wind down, and you start to get ready to end your day, your parasympathetic kicks in. So one is more like waking alive, the other one is more sleepy, more like getting yourself ready. At the beginning of the day, we want to kickstart things, and actually eating food and eating more carbohydrates creates your parasympathetic to kick in. And if you eat too much, when you eat, if I went to eat this meal, would I feel energized or tired? Tired. My parasympathetic would kick in, and that's what ends up happening. And that's not really what we want. So we encourage people to do what's called intermittent fasting. Basically, you skip breakfast, you push your first meal, and there's so many health benefits behind that. But the main idea is that because I did not have this big giant breakfast, or even if I just had a muffin or some cereal or some fruit, because I skipped that and I have my first meal more around lunchtime, I've just saved up some calories. I just now have maybe 500, maybe 600 calories that I can take, that I kind of like have in the bank, that I can now use for my lunch and dinner. So I'm now able to have a much bigger meal for lunch and dinner, where I feel more satisfied, where it's more enjoyable, and I'm not overeating. Because at the end of the day, you have to look at your numbers in a day. And if you have 3,000 calories, and you're only supposed to be around 25 or 22 or 27, but you're at 3,000, you're going to end up putting on weight. If you end up eating around the number that you're at, then you're going to pretty much stick to where you're at. And if you go lower that number, and it depends on activity and all that. So,
sorry to be bothering you again. Does it count as intermittent fasting if you're not hungry? Because I get up in the morning and I can put off. If I start doing something, especially if I get really consumed, and I don't even think about eating, and then later on it could be noon, and I go, I should eat something.
Yeah, that counts for sure.
That still counts.
Well, of course.
I figured I had to feel like I needed to eat.
No. Whether you feel like it or not, is your body, is your digestive system getting a break? Basically, it's giving a break to your digestive system, not letting it rest, giving it some time to. And when that happens, there's many different things that will happen. One of them is that your body will go and eat cancer cells. You will go into also what's called a fat burning mode. There's so many health benefits, and it doesn't really matter whether you think about you're doing it or not. It just matters like, have you put food down your body? Are you digesting?
What if you drink just coffee in the morning?
So if you drink, so the way I do it is I hydrate a lot. I drink a cup of coffee, usually in the morning. I have some water, and if you keep it fairly still low, it still counts. So one of the things that has helped me also is sometimes we just have a bit of green juice. And then sometimes in the coffee, the biggest thing you don't want is to have a bit of high carbohydrates. So that's where really the health benefits will start to go away. So if you have, you start having a bit of a meal, then that's where your fast kind of ends. But again, you don't need to obsess about it. You don't need to, I need to make it to this time to be successful. You know, in the beginning, you start off by just trying to skip breakfast a little bit, try to push it. And with time, in the beginning, I remember like thinking, oh my goodness, I'm having the shakes, or I'm getting dizzy, I can't do this, how I'm starving, I mean, like, how am I gonna like manage? And now sometimes my first meal is at 4 o'clock.
I often have the butter and coconut oil in coffee. Does that count as?
No, because it's fat.
Okay.
If it was more of a sugar type, then insulin and then different things would happen. But
so it's still like fasting?
It's still like fasting, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So what does breakfast looks like for us at home? Oftentimes it's a fast, or when it's not a fast, so it's not always that I fast every day. I tend to fast more on weekdays when I'm working. And on the weekends, we tend to be a little bit more parasympathetic state. We tend to be a bit more relaxed. And we tend to have a little bit more of some breakfast times. But sometimes it's just some green juice. And sometimes it's eggs and bacon and potatoes and maybe a little bit of fruit. Fruit is pretty rare. Usually it's more of a protein and fat in the beginning of my day. And then, you know, there's eggs and bacon. And there's eggs and bacon. And there's eggs and bacon. And eggs and bacon. Oh! No bacon in this one. This was today. I don't think I posted it today.
No.
This was at my favorite breakfast restaurant place. Yep. So I keep it very simple. I don't change much. I don't have a gazillion recipes. Now, if you like a lot of variety, that's fine. But a lot of times, if I'm gonna have it's very simple. Okay, I want to have a breakfast meal. What I'm gonna do?
Eggs and bacon.
Eggs and bacon. It's more of a fat meal. It's more of a protein meal. And if I do want some starch, I don't do bread. So we don't do bread with Oaktree. We do potatoes. We do more natural starches. Sometimes if you're like, I don't like bacon, I don't like eggs. Isn't bacon bad for you? We'll talk about that later. You can try maybe some yogurt, but this is more of a sugar type. There's fruits, there's some chia seeds, some nuts. You can also do a shake. Yeah, that's fine. We have Vitamix. We sometimes shake stuff. Throw in a bunch of things and have a shake. Have another shake. So that's breakfast.
I like soup for breakfast.
Yes. So that's a good point.
If it's at like 12 or 1 o'clock kind of thing?
Yeah, around 12. You know what? But even if it's at 8 o'clock,
Yeah.
I do soup sometimes too. Sometimes I have broth for breakfast. So it doesn't really matter that it's breakfast, that I can't have, it's in our culture that we think it's breakfast, it has to have breakfast food. But it's not. You can have leftovers. You can have whatever. So lunch tends to be my first meal. And number one lunch component, soups. Soups are very filling. Soups are allows me to get a lot of vegetables. I'm not a huge fan of always eating vegetables and vegetables and vegetables, but I know I have to get vegetables. So the way I do it is I drink a lot of green juice and I have soups. And soups, I tend they're filling. It's warm, and so today I had soup. Soup. Salad. Soup and salad tends to be lunch. I think that was it today. Oh, that's This was today. Sorry I couldn't get it like this. Sometimes another thing that I do a lot for lunch is guacamole.
Yeah.
I get avocados and I have my recipe that changes every time because it's just whatever we have. But we have guacamole. We have some we'll cut up a few vegetables, olives a little bit, maybe some eggs again, maybe more bacon because maybe that's my first meal. Eggs and some of the pictures you saw for breakfast, they were actually, I tricked you. They weren't really breakfast. They were lunch. So soup and salad. Maybe this was today. No. Salad and guacamole.
Did you just eat the guacamole?
Guacamole.
With a spoon?
I just eat it out of the spoon like that.
Straight soup.
Yep. Guacamole. Guacamole and peppers. Oh, leftovers. That's another thing we do a lot. We do leftovers, so it doesn't matter if it was breakfast. But that was leftover. Guacamole, peppers, some fish. Oh, this shouldn't be there. This is dinner. This is so we don't do bread. We do burgers. Sometimes we do bread. It doesn't mean we cannot do bread, but we try not to do bread. We don't feel that great when we do bread. But sometimes I'm at a restaurant and they bring the warm bread, and then we look at Emily and I. We look at each other and we're like, "Who's the first one that's gonna go for it?" And we're both thinking about it, and like we're talking, but we're not listening to each other, and we're like, "Do you see it? Yeah, I see it." And then we go for the bread. Well, you know what? I don't have any bread in my house. Monday, if I had bread in my house, for sure I would have made an egg sandwich. I was craving. I was like, oh, I need bread. Because I had the pizza. So we get creative and we use ways to not eat bread. And this is delicious, by the way. This tastes just as good, and I feel better like this than with the bread. So dinner tends to be the one meal that we put a little bit more attention on it. We try to get a little bit creative and try to have some really nice meals, and we'll tend to put the nice table out and we'll light a candle, and we have the kids, and Ori likes to set the mood because he's learned from the dad. We put on the music and we put on the candle, and it's like every time we do the candle, I'm like, okay, let's do the candle. And so dinner we try to put a little bit more effort, but it's carbs, it's protein, and it's fats. So we use crock pots a lot. So we have a busy lifestyle. So we throw it in the crock pot, and bada bing, bada boom. 8 hours later, yum, we're ready to go.
Is that where you make all your soups, in the crock pot? Or...
Yeah, we do. We make a lot of soups in the crock pot. Yep. We use the crock pot a lot on the weekends. We go and we just throw it we start our day in the morning, put stuff in the crock pot, and then it's ready. Dinner, does this looks like a diet? Does this look like, oh my goodness, you're gonna suffer?
No.
You're going to be in this prison, and you have to eat this and this. And we sometimes have pasta, and sometimes we'll do the rice pasta. But we'll do also this is like a zucchini pasta. I forget the name of this, but it's basically a device. Spiralizer, thank you. That you put your zucchini and you spiralize it, and you have then zucchini noodles. And sometimes we'll do liver. Weird things like liver.
Yum.
When people think of liver, they don't say yum. But
I know what they're missing.
Yeah, if you can do it well, you must be able to do it well. Because if you can do it well, it can be, and there's a lot of nutrients. There's good things in liver. So we keep going.
Where do you get your meats?
So we get our meats from local places. All of our meats tend to be from sources that we know. So we have farms that we can give you information. Mackenzie Farm is one of the farms that we promoted a lot through the On Diet. We've had Meredith come many times and talk about her chickens and talk about her eggs, and you can go visit, and we get this beef comes from a farm. We buy a whole cow. Sometimes you can buy a quarter of a cow. You can buy, and then you put it all in the freezer, and then you have the whole. And it tends to be a much more economical way of doing it because you get different cuts. You don't all get the T-bones. You get a mixture of all different cuts, and at your price. So now we get steaks at like really great prices because we do it that way. So the farm for our beef for right now we've done. It's called it's like Moulini Farms. And we have information about all the farms. Our lamb is from a place here in Finch. I forget the name, but I've looked in the eyes of all the farmers. I've talked to all the farmers. I visited all the farmers. I visited their farms, and now I'm so much more connected. And forever, Emily and I, we did 4 years of vegetarian because we were afraid of meat. We were afraid of eating, contaminated food that was going to make us sick. But as going on a vegetarian diet, we were just not eating healthy still. We were unbalanced. We were eating way too many carbohydrates. We weren't getting good sources of protein. And I was definitely missing my bacon. So we decided to start going and learn more about and talk more about the farms. Do you have a question?
No.
Is there a big difference in taste and quality with the organic?
Some people say yes. To be honest, I haven't ever really noticed it that much. It depends. Maybe because I've been eating organic now for such a long time.
Non-organic cows produce 3 times the methane that organic cows produce.
Yeah.
Which is just something that is like what they're eating as well. So
Yeah.
That's
If there's one food like that I encourage people to go more healthy, more organic, more like no grass-fed or things like that, is with meat.
Yeah.
It's much faster to cook.
Because there's less fat.
Yes,
They're not as fatty.
Really
they didn't grow so
Yeah,
poof,
when
like
you first
they didn't get fat real quick because
Yeah.
they're leaner. Yeah. So dinner, and sometimes dinner looked like breakfast. A lot of times, it's late. What are we gonna do? Sometimes I finish work. It's late. I missed. So right now I didn't have my dinner yet. But I'm okay. And actually, if I would have had, Emily was like, "Are you gonna eat?" I was like, "No. If I eat, I'm gonna be a little bit tired, a little bit sleepy. I don't want to be. I want to be on for my group tonight." So sometimes breakfast, sometimes dinner is breakfast. That works. And sometimes chicken and salads, and we got the candle. Gotta have the candle. And more, and a good mix.
And the wine.
The wine.
I noticed that too.
Yeah. So we have wine. We have wine sometimes. I tend to not feel as good on wine. For me personally, some people it doesn't bother them, but the way I see it is a little bit like how gluten. Gluten makes a lot of people sick. So probably even if you don't notice that you get sick with gluten, you should probably avoid it. Wine makes a lot of people unwell. But once in a while, and my problem is usually I have one glass and it's like, wow, that was good. So I have a second one. And usually after my third, then it's like, the next day I don't feel as good. So it's a control thing. So I don't drink as much, but once in a while, on the weekends, I have a meal like this. This was a great meal. And there was a candle, but you don't see it. For sure there's a candle there. And yes, we do eat meat. And we talked a little bit about the meat. So
You didn't mention fish too much.
yes, I love fish too. But sometimes we cook fish and then it smells fishy in the clinic.
Yeah.
So we try not to cook as much fish lately. Or
Especially in the summertime.
especially in the summer times, we
Yeah.
But on the weekends, sometimes we have fish. I love fish too.
Where do you
And
get your fish?
I get our fish from that point or Whale's Bones. Those are the two places that we go. And we buy wild.
Nature's Buzz on Beechwood delivers every Thursday morning before noon organic salmon, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. It's organic salmon, and it's fresh, and they sell it fresh until Saturday, then they freeze it, and it's no longer fresh.
So when they say organic for fish, I'm more interested in wild than organic.
I was too, so...
Because they could feed the fish, a farm fish, organic feed, and call it organic fish. Which, how in the world, it's crazy that we live in a world where it's like, how in the world are fish not organic? Like,
They've explained it to me that it is confined within the ocean. But it's confined in a bigger place than a farm fish would be, and it's confined where the waters move more so that there's more things moving in and out. That's how they described it. They sure taste better than any other fish I've ever had. So that...
But isn't it crazy that we live in a world, like, we were traveling to Toronto and we stopped at A&W. And we were looking at the signs, and it was all about how, like, this is hormone-free, and it's like, it is, their advertising is all about, we didn't put poison in our meat.
No, we took this one out this time.
Yeah.
It's like, it was there before.
Isn't it crazy that, like, it's kind of like you came for acupuncture, and it's like, the needles are sterile, we advertise our needles are clean. Yeah, like, how in the world would you not be? But that's the world we live in. So when we travel, we still eat the same food. It doesn't matter that we are, sometimes, for sure, if you do travel, it is going to be harder. You're going to be offered more temptation. You're going to be, and I try to keep it fairly simple still. I'll try to fast in the morning when I'm traveling. Lunch tends to be like a salad. Maybe I'll add some meat to it. This was another traveling time. And dinner, I tend to get a steak, or I'll get, and then I'll ask for some potatoes. I'll ask for some rice and some vegetables. Pretty much the same thing as if I try to mimic my regular meals.
Would you have any sort of snack things, like if you're traveling, that you carry with you so you don't end up having to buy just what's on the... Oh, you're coming to that.
I'm coming to that.
Hey, this sounds like we rehearsed.
Yes.
Don't tell them. So, if you ever watch what I eat, you probably notice that I don't post snacks.
Oh.
And it's because I'm not a believer of snacks. I'm a believer in eating meals, big meals, but snacks tends to be full of sugary foods, foods that were going to boost up my numbers in terms of calories. I was reading, like, we have Mary's crackers that we get once in a while, and I was telling Emily, guess how many calories is in 13 of these little crackers? And they're like nuts and like seeds, and they're like, probably your healthiest cracker you can find. And she's like, I don't know, maybe there's like 30 or 40 calories. And it was around 150.
Wow.
Yeah. So we don't snack, and we don't encourage snacking for Undiet or for Oaktree Body. Just simply because you're not going to feel that much satisfied. So what do I do, Guna, for snacking? Like midday, most people around 2:30, 3 o'clock, like, they need a little pick-me-up. I need a snack, right? My kids, they come back from school, and they're like, that's like the only word they keep coming out of their mouth is like, give me a snack, give me a snack, when are you going to get a snack, snack. And we do give them snacks, but they're in a different stage than I am. What's my snack?
Coffee and a Pellegrino.
Coffee and a San Pellegrino.
San Pellegrino.
Yeah. So I hydrate. That's what I do.
I'm just thinking, like, on long plane trips or something like that, and you're sitting there and you don't want to buy hardly anything on the menu. What do you put I like, is apple a good thing? Fruits, I don't know. I usually use fruits and a little thing of cheese because, like goat cheese or something, because it will satisfy.
Well, that's a great question. I'm glad you asked that. We definitely did not rehearse this. I don't even know her. It's the first time I meet her. Like. So if you're gonna snack, which I do, and if I am gonna snack, I tend to keep my snack at the end of my day.
Yeah.
I push it as far as I can, and usually it's an evening snack. If I'm sitting, Emily and I, we've got Netflix going on. This is for sure. That's the time that snacks are gonna come out, and usually my go-to snacks are apple, a green apple. I love apple with some olive oil and balsamic and salt and pepper. That's one of my snacks that I do. I do olives. I go for some dark chocolate or nuts. And it's like, my brain doesn't like, what are we going to have? My brain just goes, apple. Right away. It's very simple. Probably the first snack that I'm going to have. If I'm going to have a snack. And I try not to snack. But if my first snack, if right away, we're watching a movie or something, I'm going to go get an apple. Is it always an apple? Sometimes it's chips. But like most, if I'm focused, if I'm on diet, if I'm on, and I want a snack, first snack right away, you can ask Emily, it's an apple. And then, you can come up with your snacks. Do you know how many calories is in an apple?
90.
What?
Was it 90?
Yeah, close to that. Close to 90. So, every once in a while, it's good to have some awareness. It's good to know. Because you're snacking, who here has just grab a handful of nuts and just, and that's it, like.
Yeah, that would have a lot of calories. Yes.
Yeah. So, like, that's why I discourage, if weight loss, if you want to keep your calories low, or when I mean like at a good number, don't focus too much on snacking. And I'll go back, your question was a little bit too fast, by the way. So I hydrate, I stay away, like snacks, we're not gaining much. If I, snack on some pretzel or like some cheese or crackers, it's not going to fill me. I'm not going to be like, oh wow, that was satisfying. I'm going to have to eat a whole box of crackers and a whole brick of cheese to feel like, alright, I'm good now. I'm going to have to eat the whole tub of yogurt or like, so snacks tend to be not necessarily something that we encourage if you're going to do on diet. We encourage more to hydrate. So my snack, Guna, she mentioned, mid-afternoon, I'm not always, but I'll have maybe a coffee. And sometimes I'll make a big coffee and I only drink like half of it or a third of it. And I sleep like a baby. Ask Emily, I fall asleep. Just today, during lunchtime, I went for a nap, and she's like, "You're working in 6 minutes." I'm like, "Yeah, I got time." And I nap for like 6 minutes. I can fall asleep like that. No problems with sleep at all. And I usually have a cup in the morning, and I'll have another cup sometimes in the afternoon.
And do you wake up as quickly? Like, are you sharp when you wake up?
Yeah, I usually wake up. Today, I think I woke up at 5:30. And it varies. 5:30, 6:30 tends to be my window of waking up. On weekends, I'll have days maybe, okay, I'm sleeping in 7, 8, 9. But I've got things to do.
Yeah, not lying around.
I don't want to... So, my coffee that I like is called Bulletproof. I just believe in high quality stuff. Bulletproof are known to have good quality beans. I make what's called Bulletproof coffee from time to time. It's what you were referring to is coffee with oils like butter and some MCT or coconut oil.
Have you found grass-fed butter? Because I know it's really hard to find in Ottawa, and that's one of the main ingredients of.
It is.
Yeah.
Do you know what I do?
Road trip.
Yeah, road trip to Montreal.
No,
Okay.
the U.S.
US okay, that makes sense,
Yeah. So I'm lucky that I have my grandmother that goes to Florida in the wintertime, and then she comes back with 10 bricks of, and then we freeze them.
She's a butter smuggler.
Yeah. She's a butter smuggler. She's an 85-year-old butter smuggler. And, you know, they've never stopped her. She's been doing it for years.
Proud grandson.
And then during the year, I also have a few patients that are also go on some little shopping trips, and then they come back with some more butter for me. So that's how I do it.
So you can't find grass-fed, like truly grass-fed in Ottawa.
No.
So it's
Unless you talk to a farmer, you have
Okay.
a connection with a farmer. They're not allowed to label it. You will see grass-fed milk. You'll see
Yes.
some that have kind of like marketed as grass-fed, but
Yeah.
it's not fully grass-fed. There's a company called Meadows. You've heard of
Yeah.
Dairy Meadows. And I've investigated. I was a hawk on them. And I have emails. I can prove them to you. They are not always grass-fed.
There's one they sell at Whole Foods that's from
It's
New Zealand. It's like kiwi craze or
Yeah,
something
yeah.
like that.
It is not grass.
It's not.
No. Sometimes it is. Depends on the year. Depends on like the batch you're getting. It could be, but
Right.
But if you're going to use something like the half.
But that's still like, you know, I'll go to an extreme. I'll get my 85-year-old grandmother to smuggle me some butter, but that's where I'm at. If you're like, you know, I'm not there yet. Just go and buy butter.
Yeah.
Buy organic butter. That's
Yeah.
still very
Yeah.
good.
That's hilarious.
So this is my bulletproof coffee. So we talked about snacks. San Pellegrino is one of my favorite snacks. It's water. Guess how many calories is in San Pellegrino? 0. Many times we're watching Netflix and Emily and I, snack time, and we just have a San Pellegrino and we feel satisfied.
Just sodium? No sodium in it?
There's sodium, there's minerals, yes, yeah. But I'm not too concerned about it. People sometimes, again, like salt, it's I won't get into it, but I don't eat much processed food. I cook a lot of my own meals. Actually, there are harm if you don't have enough salt in your body. So I want minerals, and so I drink.
Why San Pellegrino and not Perrier?
I'm just
Okay.
once I find something that I like, I just stick to it. I'm very
It
like.
does taste better, I think.
Yeah.
I find.
But if you don't want the sodium.
You know, I'll give you an example. My pants. If you ever look at my pants, I have different colors, but they're all the same pants. I'm just like that. I'm just like, once I find something, yeah, these pants fit.
What about flavored sparkling water? Like lemon, they have San Pellegrino, like lemon flavor, they have these flavors added.
Yes.
Bad, good?
I don't know. I've never looked into it.
It's artificial, so...
Yeah, so artificial flavor is probably bad.
Okay.
So you can just get a lime or a lemon and put
Yeah, so
that
that's
in.
what I do. I add a lime all the time to my San Pellegrino. Another drink that we like to have once in a while is kombucha. If you don't know what kombucha is, go watch this video. It's on YouTube. Emily describes it. It's a great summer drink. We have it all the time. So it's not all vegetables. It's fun. It's exciting. It involves sometimes cupcakes with Annie, or we didn't have a cupcake. It was more of a
Nanaimo bar.
Nanaimo bar.
Oh yeah.
But so that's the food component. Good idea. You have an idea. There's so much more, and we do like. And I want to keep this brief tonight. I wanted to have a review. There's so much more I wanted to talk about, but was overall review of it. Another thing that you have to do is focus on strength. Now, so many people are intimidated when it comes to the strength part. They're like, I was talking to somebody and she's like, yeah, I've got weights, I think. I've got my ones, and maybe I could get those out. And I'm like, ones? I got my bands, maybe I can do my bands. And I'm like, okay, well, you gotta start somewhere. So yeah, do that instead of nothing. So I keep it fairly simple. I do push-ups at home. I have a chin-up bar. I have several chin-up bars. I have a chin-up bar just behind this door. I have, in one of the acupuncture room, there's like 2 little round circles that I can insert a chin-up bar, and I've done that many times. So now you know some of my tricks. In my living room, there's a chin-up bar. So chin-ups is one of my exercises I find I get a lot out of. It's a good stretch. I feel like a good stretch on my spine, but it's also something that allows my back to get stronger. Planks is a good overall. It's good for the shoulders. It's good for the abs. It's good for the butt muscles. Squats, I always tell people do squats. If you can't squat, then a squat is a functional. It was meant, we were meant to learn to squat so we can have a normal poop, and that's where it comes from. But most people these days cannot squat, and because they don't have the flexibility, they don't have the strength. If you have problems with squat, knee problems, or you find it's hurting you, this is an area that I can help you. I meet people from time to time. Barbara, did we meet one time? Yeah.
We did.
We did. We practiced and we looked at it, and we can do it again. And so I'm a big fan of keeping it simple. I wear the same pants well, not the same pants. I have multiple, but it's always the same. My exercise, I want to get good at these exercises. So, and I want to build strength. When I do chin-ups or push-ups, I want it to hurt in a way where I'm working. I'm not just like, oh yeah, this was good, this was fun. Yeah, this was a good... No, it's like I'm there to build strength. That is my intention. The only way I'm going to build strength is if I push myself. And that's something that I can help you if you're still intimidated by it. I don't do much of this, but I still need to do some of it in order... Because if you lose weight and you don't focus on building strength, you will lose muscle. And that is the last thing you want. So another big part of what we do is our accountability, our community. We use Facebook. If you're on Facebook, that's great. It can come in pretty handy. If you are not on Facebook, that's okay. There's so many other ways. We have people that aren't really involved with Facebook. They're not comfortable with that. And they send me reports. They send me emails. We have calls. We have weekly calls. I have weekly calls with a few people. And basically what we're offering is the accountability and the support. At the end of the day, I really believe that we know what we should be doing. It's just a matter of doing it. We know vegetables are good for us, but do we do it? We know that we should exercise, but do we do it? And I'm far more successful at it when I have a support, when I have a community, and that's a big part of what we do. So for Facebook, what we do is we take pictures. All these pictures you saw of it's not like they come, I had them, they're pretty handy because I take a picture when I'm doing Oaktree BODY, I take pictures of my meals. And I post them on Facebook on a closed private group. So we have this group where technically only the people that are on the group should be seeing your plates if you do it properly. So that's what I can tell you about that. We've changed. It's not Undiet anymore. Now it's Oaktree BODY. I make tons of videos and I post them on these. And these are videos, literally, it's always one take. There's no editing behind. Like there's never been, let's do this again. There's some videos also of Emily saying, you stop the video, do it again. And I'm like, no, we're just doing this once. And they're basically like little stories, little anecdotes, or little lessons that I am experiencing as I'm going through this as well. So today I posted one on salad dressing. I made a salad dressing and I was like, yeah, I should probably share this with others. And that's what I did. So it is a closed group. It is meant for the people that are in this program. So that's that. It also involves sometimes beer. and sometimes my chocolatine with some coffee. That's treats. You know, we have to live. We have to indulge. Sometimes we can't feel like we're stuck. You can't obsess about it. You can't. And having this does not ruin your whole efforts. And the guilt and the shame that people sometimes they go on a binge and they're like, all right, I'm just gonna. And when do we usually go on binges?
The end of the day.
The end of the day.
When we're stressed out.
When we're stressed out. Biggest thing the number one thing I hear about people is stress is the number one reason why people suffer with their diets, why all of a sudden it's like. So, Oaktree BODY is about lifestyle. It's about addressing that stress. Having times, giving yourself permission sometimes to do a bit of going, having some bad food, but also recognizing that that when you are stressed, when you're not feeling well, it is part of it's natural. You're gonna want to go and crave more of the bad foods. So we also created, as we created Oaktree BODY, we created Martin Perras. I have my own website now. So there's Oaktree, there's Martin Perras. Why not? And I make fun of Emily. I tell her all the time. I say I'm martinperras.com, and it's a big family joke. martinperras.com. But we did create a martinperras.com, and some of the videos that we want to create. So we want to offer people a lot of some of this content, because I feel sometimes. I'm coaching and I'm helping some people, and it's a shame that others are not seeing this stuff. And so some of the content we want to make it available for anybody that wants to learn more about healthy eating, healthy lifestyle. We want to, and that's where Oaktree BODY and Martin Perras will come in together, and people are going to watch some of these and learn more about it. But when it comes to the support, and when it comes more to the accountability, that's going to be more of the closed group that we have. So Martin Perras now has a YouTube. MartinPerras.com, by the way. It's me. And this was cute. June 15th. What's happening on June 15th? It's today. It's today. So June 15th was our date, and Ori and I made a quick little video. But so we're gonna put on YouTube. We have MartinPerras.com is gonna share some of these videos, some of the stories that we have. But when it comes, like I said, when it comes to the support, it's gonna be more of a. So this is gonna be free. We're gonna give a lot of content away, but the support and the accountability and the coaching is a paid program. And these are some of the videos that we've made. We have like how to get started, how to purge, and your shopping guidelines. And so that's that. If you haven't done it before and you're interested, the coaching program, and part of tonight wasn't to pitch you a program, but it was to teach you some things, teach you how we're doing it, hang out, share some food. But if you're interested you need some help. Like I was meeting somebody yesterday, and she came in for weight loss, and she's like, I have weight loss issue. I need some help with weight loss. But she's like, but I'm not convinced that it's a real problem. And I'm not convinced that I can get help. Like part of her was like, I know I can do this on my own. And I said, well, if you can do it on your own, then all right, go do it on your own. Like but I know that I cannot do it on my own. I've needed help, and there's nothing wrong with admitting that you need help. I think we have our pride sometimes that gets in our way. That gets like we want to do it all on our own. But if you want some help, we'd love to help you. There's going to be, if you just want to kind of observe, check it out, there's going to be that option. You're going to be able to see a lot of the content, learn from it. But if you want more additional help, we're going to be here for you. And you can do that with Oaktree BODY. At the end of the day, why I do this is because of these three. What I do right now will have an impact on future generations. And because I eat this certain way, my kids most likely will eat this way. And I'm the root, they are the branch. My life, and like, I've got my own dreams, I've got my own ambitions. I'm not just a parent who says, all right, kids, you guys lead the way. What do you want to eat? What do you want to do? No, I'm the parent. I'm there to lead them. And it's because I want to see them flourish. I want to see them have the amazing life. Life is amazing, and I hope you find it amazing, and I hope I can help you on your own journey. And that's really what I wanted to share tonight. So thanks for coming. I'm at this point going to take questions. If you have questions, if you want to hang out and talk more, we can try some green juice. We can just talk more about what we do. But that's really what we wanted to do tonight. So thanks for coming. What? Yeah. So pretty much everybody here I know. I have your email, and if some of you online, if this is the first time you're learning about this and you're intrigued, you want to know more, send me an email. Go to martinperras.com. Oh, my evil laugh. But go to martinperras.com. You can get in touch with me. My email is also martin@oaktreehealth.ca. And you can like us. We're all on the social stuff. So we're on Facebook. If you're online, if you've found us, then for sure you know that we're on other platforms for social stuff. So send me an email if you want to know more about it, if you want to talk. If you've been doing On Diet now, or now what's called Oaktree BODY, I'm going to have a hard time changing the name. But if you've been doing that for a while, and we're kind of approaching the end, of if you did it for 4 months, what's happening is we still want to engage with you in a certain way. You probably don't need as much coaching, but if you still want to stay in the community, we can do that. What we do for the coaching component, we charge $50 a month. That's if you've been coached, if you've had the accountability and support. That's what it was. It was designed to be like that for 4 months. If you're brand new and you want to get started on that, you can. Click here. No, don't click here. But just talk to me. You can do that. After the 4 months, that $50 goes down to $10. So if you want to stay involved and you want to stay in it, you can. It's $10 a month, which is not much, and probably worth the investment to stay, because like anything, my biggest health tip, I can definitely share that my biggest belief in health is to be consistent and find something that you can sustain. If you keep doing On Diet, you keep doing Oaktree BODY, you do it for many years, you will get to where you want. This is not meant to go up and then down. It's meant to keep working on it, keep going for many years. And what do we do after a few years? We keep doing it. And after a few more years, we keep doing it again. And it doesn't stop. Because health doesn't stop. Or if you decide, I want to stop taking care of my health, then that can stop. But if you want to stay healthy, you want to keep taking care of yourself, then you keep doing it. You don't stop.
I have a question about intermittent fasting.
Yes.
So how many hours is considered the optimal?
So there's different scenarios. 16 hours is known. It's one of the number that people talk a lot about. But really, I think that's very individualized. I think that number depends on your day, depends on your activities, depends on the how, if this is brand new to you or you've been doing it for many times. I usually encourage people to just try it once. You will probably fail at it because it is your first time you try it. Anything that you try, the first time that I started driving a manual car, there was a lot of it's a stall and all. It's anything that we start to in the beginning, we fail. So expect a failure in the beginning. If you do intermittent fasting, expect some awkwardness, some shakiness, but with time that number can grow. So 16 hours. There's some people do it for a whole day. Right now there's the Ramadan going on, and people fast and they eat from, I think usually around like 9 p.m. to like 3 a.m. That's their window, and they do that like for 40 days, I believe it's 40 days or something like that. So there's different equations, there's different ways. And I wouldn't worry too much on the number. I have no idea my number. I just know usually dinner tends to be my last meal, and then there's a bit of hydration, and that's it. I wake up, I hydrate again, I have a coffee, and then I go. And I exercise, by the way, in that. Sometimes yesterday I ran probably 10K. I was talking to Jenna while I was running, and she's like, "Are you running?" I'm like, "Yeah." and I had no food in my body. All I had was some water, and I did that, and I had my first meal around probably, I forget what time it was, probably around 2 o'clock.
Sounds like you have 2 meals a day and maybe a snack or not. So just
Exactly.
eat twice a day.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it.
Right.
Life is busy. I got things to do.
Yeah.
And it's just, but they're satisfying meal. Lunch was a big meal. Today I had my breakfast. I went for breakfast. I forgot. But I could have skipped that breakfast, and it wouldn't have bothered me at all. It wouldn't faze me at all. I could have skipped that and had what I had for lunch. Lunch was soup and salad.
An online question
Oh.
from Amy. She says,
Hi,
what do you
Amy.
think about protein shakes in order to get more protein into your diet, especially if you're doing weight training?
So, good question. Forever I've tried supplements. I've tried Vega protein. Forever I was doing Vega protein. And then I forget, I did another types of protein. I do 0 supplements right now. This year is my year of 0 supplements. And I'm doing an Ironman in a month. So I don't think it's necessary. I'd rather get it from food. Even though if you're busy, I would still, if I had a shake, it didn't count for me. It just there was a lot of calories, it's dense, and you can do it, but I'd rather get it from regular food. I think there are good sources of protein you can do, but at the same time, I don't want to have too much of a high protein meal, even if I'm exercising. I think the fitness world has been just telling us, and you gotta have your protein, protein shake. Well, I've done the protein whirl, and I actually felt more bloated. I felt more gas, more digestive issues than not going on shakes. So I believe in real food. It's been one of my main philosophy forever. Just eat regular food, and I train sometimes a lot. Sometimes I don't, but when I do, I still eat just regular food. And right now, I'm going to do an Ironman on no...
Wendy? I think it's your husband.
I'm going to do an Ironman on no Gatorade, on no gels, no sport bars, nothing like that. I'm using rice balls. I'm having Jesse making me some rice balls, and I'm going to use water, and I'm going to use bone broth as my salt and minerals, and that's what I'm going on for my training.
Paul mentioned that you can actually get Kerrygold, which is fully grass-fed butter, at Rainbow Paleo Comfort Foods.
And where's that?
I'll ask Paul.
Okay. Well, if you can find, Kerrygold, that's the brand I actually use for my grass-fed butter.
Maybe it's your grandma that's selling it.
Maybe it's my grandma. Shout out to Paul. Paul, watch out. He's probably like overcharging you on the butter.
He's probably overcharging you on that.
Well, yes, I know, like huge service fee.
So it's an online site.
Okay.
Apparently.
You can order it online.
Well, tell Paul to post it on Facebook so we can all
Yeah.
have it. Do we have any other questions, or who here who here wants to talk a bit about, like, who here wants to share their experience, or like has gone through it, or
All we can say, go ahead. No, I just want to say portion control, I think, is the biggest thing too.
Yeah.
I really do, because I think even if you use smaller plates, it makes a big difference.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say. Yeah.
There's a psychological factor with smaller plates. If you have bigger plates, the food will look smaller. They said like something like 25. You'll feel 25% fuller.
Yeah.
If you use smaller plates. Yeah.
One of my big philosophy is get more out of less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with our cars, with everything we use. And that was intermittent fasting. Like really got me to learn more about that. How I used to think there was no way I could exercise without food in me. Like if I was gonna go on a run, I needed to have like some type of food in me to be able. Otherwise, I was gonna pass out. But now, like, I'm able to do so much more with less food, less calories, and like, I really believe that overeating creates a lot of our inflammatory diseases. That's where I have people come all the time, and they're eating all sorts of foods that are high in inflammation, and that leads to all sorts of immune disease problems, autoimmune disease like cancer, and all sorts of weird things. People like, I have fibromyalgia. How did it start? I don't know. Well, maybe it's because that person overate. And they've been overeating their whole life. For sure, until I got into more about nutrition, I was an overeater my whole life. Like, the amount of calories, like, I'm surprised. And, like, in some ways, like, I still managed to stay somewhat lean. But you can be lean and still have, forever, I was lean, but had a bit of a pot belly, had a bit of if I was really honest with myself, I could have been lean, but still felt sick. You can be lean and still be fat. You can still have, and there's like people that have...
They call it skinny fat.
They call it skinny fat. They have fat around their organs. Mm-hmm. They look lean, but they're not. And that leads to disease. So you wanted to share? You did the undiet...
a couple of times.
Couple times?
And I just wanted to share that my focus really, I didn't want to focus on losing weight, although that was like a huge point. I just focused on just trying to eat healthy and feel better every day. So the losing weight became like a super high bonus.
Yeah.
Like be like super happy, and I get on the scale and oh wow, I've lost over 20 pounds during this whole period of time. Mind you, now I've went off of it and it's come back. So if you don't stay on it, yes, it's your lack of health.
I train with a friend. Every year we do an Ironman in Tremblant, and every year we start off our training, and he's about 25 pounds more. And over the training, and he starts dieting, but every year he's around 220. He's a bigger guy than me, and he's always so slow in the hills in the beginning, and I'm always like, and he's like, I always look at him in the beginning and like, when are you gonna just stick to what you're doing and maintain that? And like this year, he's like slowly coming down. And he's telling me like, now like we're doing the hills training together, and he's like, oh, this is so much easier. I'm like, yeah, well, you just lost 15 pounds, so your bike is so much lighter now. So you want to try to stay away from the yo-yo. Like every year he loses around 20, 25 pounds. And as soon as the Ironman is done, guess what? It comes back on. It goes right back on, and it's just, for him, it's just like, all right, I did the Ironman, I'm done, and now it's like, boom.
Yeah.
And then the following year, guess what? I'm sure Maybe not. Maybe 1 point. But anybody else?
Just to clarify, the butter is actually available at Rainbow Foods in
Okay.
Ottawa.
Oh.
So there's one on Richmond Road and Greenbank as well.
Okay. Thanks, Paul.
Richmond one's probably bigger.
Anything else? Anybody else wanted to? Yes.
I think that the biggest thing. So I've been doing it for what, like 2 months, 3 months, maybe 2 months. April, May.
I think
yeah.
3 months.
April, May, June. 2 months and a half. 2 months and a half.
Okay.
So the biggest thing has been how I felt. And then I can read my body better. So if I slip and I have bread, for instance, like what you described with Sunday, what happened to you, that's happened to me where, you eat something, you go off, have a slice of pizza, then the next day it's like, it's a cycle.
Yes.
So if you do have those things in the house, and I do because my partner is really not on board yet.
Yes.
I'm working on him. But then you slip into a rabbit hole. Like you eat bread and then you don't feel well. But when you're on, you just feel so good. The brain fog is gone.
Yeah.
You're more productive. Skin is better.
Yeah.
Hair is better.
Yeah.
So that's the big difference for me. And hopefully, like, weight loss will come.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's.
So we talked a little bit about on and off.
Yeah.
We have an approach, if you don't know. We do tend to do 2 weeks on, and then we do 2 weeks off. When it's off, it doesn't mean that it's fully off. It just means that it's a little bit looser. It's a little bit more relaxed. Well, when you're off, you're not tracking calories. You're not tracking your foods. You're getting a bit of a break. And that approach has worked well for me in many things in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I cycle. When I attempt a hill, one of my strategies, we push hard and then we rest a little bit. In the hill, we usually break the hill in different parts of the hill. And we usually go hard a little bit and then we rest a little bit. Hard a little bit, rest hard. Yeah. And there's hills that I know exactly where to go hard. I know exactly... And it's something that I've kind of approached in a lot of things that I do in my life. So in terms of the Oaktree BODY, in terms of the nutrition component, we go hard for 2 weeks and then we rest a little bit. And it just gives us a bit of a mental break, gives us a little bit of some peace. Yes?
I've been wanting to play with the idea of doing it slightly differently.
Sure.
And that's doing it during the week and then not doing it on the weekend.
Yeah, and that's usually what I'm like, even when I'm on. The weekend tends to be looser.
Yeah.
You won't see as many posts. I don't have any Wi-Fi or any internet. My phone just does not work at all. Usually we're on the weekends. So, but I tend to relax a little bit more.
And you socialize more.
Yeah, you socialize. There's more. You gotta find, what I'm showing you is pretty much what I've found to be a little bit my equation. My equation, and it's not perfect, and it works most of the time, but you need to find your equation too. And you need to find what works well for you. And, part of maybe some of the things I talked about tonight, you might right away kind of shut down on some of these ideas. You've been like, there's no way I'll ever do that. I can't, skipping breakfast, I know, or maybe like no snacks. I gotta have my whatever. There's different, and we're all on a journey. We're all in different areas. I'm trying to give you a guideline, but there are certain people that deviate a little bit, and they are very successful. We have a few people that are vegetarian and they're doing Oaktree BODY, and they're successful. So. Don't worry if the program we offer, if you don't follow it perfectly, you can still do it. I don't follow it perfectly either. So.
One more online question from Amy. She says, I've heard that lack of good sleep impacts your diet.
Yes.
And that one craves more carbs.
Yes. Yeah.
Is there truth to this?
Of course. What happens at night with Netflix as you, like, another one. You know what I mean by another one? What's another one?
Are you sure you want to watch another one?
Yeah, it's like you want to do
You
another
have
episode.
15
One
seconds to
It's
decide,
like-
otherwise the decision is made for you.
Because we go through like House of Cards and it's like, who? One more? Let's see one more. Okay.
You gotta find out.
So when we go late, we tend to snack more. We tend to want more carbs. Carbs will make us more sleepy. We weren't designed for these lights. We weren't designed for technology, but it is the world that we live in. And because of all the lights and technology, we do stay up late. We don't get as much sleep, and we do have a harder time to lose weight. There's been a study that was shown that if you did nothing at all, you didn't change a thing. The only thing you changed was your sleep. You would lose weight. You could eat exactly the same way, but all you did is when you went to bed earlier, you would lose weight. So
I
absolutely.
believe that because when I was on second time,
Yep.
I was very regimented in the time I went to bed.
Yeah.
I'm lax now, and I'm not doing it, and I'm not doing this well.
Yeah. Well, you stay up late, you feel a little bit more tired, you snack a little bit more, and that falls into you don't wake up as fresh, and then you want more something in the breakfast time. There's usually, when I stay up late, for some reason, I don't fast the next day. I have to have a bit of a breakfast, and that just dominoes into other things. I'm a little bit more tired, and I just want more carbs, and then it's not as balanced.
So what's your best way to stop that domino? When you start seeing that like there's a domino starting, what do you do?
I think George was like, oh, it's like, you mind if I think one night he's like, oh, I crave, and you shared this on the groups, like I had a poutine.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. I just said, next day, just start fasting, have green juice maybe, do a few things that you know that are right, do a few things that are easy, and just get back on it. So usually, sometimes the weekend's not as clean, but Monday, it's always a fast day for me. And it'll get me back on it, yeah.
I just want to comment on that because one of the things that's helped me a lot is the group stuff.
Mhm.
And it's not necessarily that I'm posting, but everybody else's posts help me, especially in situations like that, Jan. When I'm slipping and weak, then I see George, who then has gone on a bike ride and done this and that and eating this amazing meal. Okay, I can do it too.
Yeah.
And it makes a huge difference.
I saw a lobster and I was telling Emily, hey, we haven't had lobster in a while, let's do some lobster.
On the balcony.
On the balcony, yeah. So the group part is very
helpful.
Very helpful. So make sure if you are in the group, you can post more. I'm always telling people, start posting. And I know that people sometimes are slipping when they're not seeing you post. When it gets quiet on Facebook and I feel like Emily and I are the only one posting, we're like, is anybody else watching this? We know, because then I talk to the chair and they're telling me, I watch all your videos and they're like, I see all your pictures. Where are yours? You're just like, oh. You don't know Facebook? I'll help you. I'll show you. If you have a smartphone, it is so easy. But at the same time, I don't want to make it the reason why you can't do it. If you don't want to post, don't post. I'm happy to be the only person posting. I will keep posting, and I know it'll encourage others. So. Any other questions online?
Nope. We actually reached our max limit for an online
So we're
broadcast, so yeah, we're done. But.
Okay. So thanks for attending, and if you want to talk to me more, you can. MartinPerras.com, talk.com. We live in the world of .coms, huh? Talk to Renew Cold Press with Naomi. I just did a podcast with her. Well, I did it last year, but I just published it this year. So you can learn more about her story, how she got started. It's an Ottawa business. It's Naomi. It's not a huge business, but she does cold press. She delivers these delivered to my house. Sometimes Emily's like, "Oh, should we stop doing this green juice thing? It's costing us money." And I tell her right away. I said, "No, it's like we have to invest. So like, if we don't do this for us, for me, the green juice, I know that if I don't do it, I'm not going to get as many vegetables. And you know, and as soon as she starts mentioning, Emily always has money. She worries about money, and I'm the one that's kind of free.
Sounds familiar.
And I just like relax about the money part. And then my answer to her right away is like, well, if you had cancer, would you be drinking that green juice? And she said, absolutely, I would drink it every day. I said, don't wait for the cancer, drink the juice right now, so we don't get the cancer. That's always been one of our thoughts in our back in our mind. So, thanks everyone for attending. Thanks for participating. It's great having you. Hope you got a lot out of it.
Thank you.